Oh, hey, it's time once again for another wonderful review from Studio Kaiju RC Review. And we have something really cool for you today. I think you're going to like it. I love it. I really love this one. So let's watch.
This series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine.
All right, we're back, and what do we have today that's really exciting for you? It is something I have been looking at for quite some time. It is the WeFone WF40 from WeFone. I know it's WF40 from WeFone. You get this smaller than the palm of my hand quadcopter. And what's special about a quadcopter? I mean, there's plenty of quadcopters on the market. Well, you know, there's the Spectas. There's the WeFone has the WF30, which is a perfectly fine machine, and the WF31, which I have yet to see, but it specs out pretty nicely. What makes the WF40 so important? Well, one of the things is the addition of a 2-axis gimbal that gives you much smoother video, not quite up to the speed of a DJI, but an excellent interim between your beginner quadcopters and your more experienced professional or neo-professional quadcopters like the DJIs. You're not going to get absolute pro quality. That's just not going to happen for a quadcopter that I was able to buy, and I bought this one for $100. That is a holiday price that was available through both Amazon and through Walmart. So it's not always there. It's usually up around $175, $185. And that's just the name of that tune. You get this nice little cover on there. I like that. It's very easy to put on and take off. The video quality, it will stream to your phone. You've got a range of around a quarter of a mile. I don't know how far the video will cover of that because it's not the wired USB between the remote control and the phone. It's a 5G signal, but it is not that wired extra powerful signal. But it will transmit to your phone, and you can save the video there or right here on a micro SD card. That is the cool thing. This thing has a slot for a micro SD, so the video goes right in there. And what are the specs on that video? Specs are 2,560 by 1440. That makes it 2.5K. That's good. 30 fields per second video. That's good. That's pretty much cinema speed. But the thing that makes the video look good, that keeps it from having that really jumpy quality, it clocks in at a very, very respectable 15,682 kilobits per second. Now that's nice. What else do you get with this? You know, they're brushless motors. That's kind of like de rigueur. If you're going to have something like that with that kind of camera, you're going to need brushless motors. And they're pretty powerful too. Why are they powerful? Because you get two of these batteries, 7.4 volt, 1500 milliamp hour. I did a hover test in my office. Now, a hover test means I just put it up in the middle of the room at, completely charged up, and I run it until it just comes down. And I got 18 minutes out of that battery. I think they advertised 20 minutes per battery, saying 40 minutes flight time. You're not going to get that practically. You're going to get between, I'd say 14 to 18 minutes of flight per battery, depending on the conditions. A windy day, this thing's going to have to fight a little bit harder. And that is one of the things it does do very well keeping its position, but you can tell it is struggling a little bit. And it is not the fastest flyer of all. It is actually not a very fast flyer. It has 2 speed controls on the controller, but at the higher speed does not seem to be really very effective against moderate winds of, say, 10 to 15 miles per hour. You're going to have a bit of struggling with that. On the other hand, I will say this: the GPS does hold it in place extremely well. And when you're flying in optical flow positioning mode, what is optical flow? That's where you have this little camera down right there. Looks down and sees the topography of the ground, and it locks on, like say right now, it would lock onto my hand, and that would be what it would use to make sure its position stays there. Is actually pretty good. I was very impressed with that. There is some floating around back and forth, but not anything dramatic and nothing to worry about. Certainly within a fairly limited range. And that includes where I work here is very heavily geofenced, so I dare not fly it in GPS mode here. I did a test, and it was strictly on optical flow positioning, and that worked outside pretty well too. So it's a well-built machine. I love this machine. Now, the video quality, as I said, is not up to snuff with, say, DJI, and the distance is nowhere near you're going to get with a DJI or, say, a Holystone HS360E or the S, or a number of other drones out there, or my Moon Spectre Mini. Why do I like this? What is so important about it? Is the video that great? Well, honestly, the video is not perfect, but I come from the 70s and the 80s where I learned to appreciate the video, whether or not it was perfect, for what I got out of it and what I was looking for from it. I'm not from this time period where everything is, just really sharp and there's almost no flaws, no flickering, no nothing. You will see a small amount sometimes of jelly roll, but it's only a little bit. You will see especially if it's a little bit of a windy day, you will see, particularly when you take it up a little bit, the horizon may angle this way or that way a little bit. And the reason for that is the whole drone is just fighting against the wind to stay still, and the gimbal may not be able to compensate far enough for that. On the other hand, that signal will still be fairly stable. There is really good image stabilization in there, and the gimbal does do a very good job. It's just not a perfect job, but that's perfectly fine. This, I like to think of my drones as like spaceships from science fiction shows. So if you look at the DJI Mini or the Spectre Mini, like I have, the HS360, so forth, the ones with the really long ranges and so forth, as starships, you send those out. They're out for long haul. You get the really cool, great distance shots, all of that. But if you just want to screw around, go out and say, hey, I just feel like doing a little bit of fun flying. I don't want to fly far. I just want to get a little bit of fun video. This is like a shuttlecraft, okay? Or say, if you're really geeky like I am, Space 1999, this would be like the Eagle, okay? It's not going to be able to fly forever, but it will definitely handle the moderate runs and handle them very nicely. So that's me being extremely geeky, and I apologize for that if you're not one of the people that cares about that stuff. So what else do you get with this? You get, as I said, you get 2 batteries. You get a controller that is like the batteries. It is a rechargeable. You get that there. It is a micro USB charger that goes in there. It doesn't look to be a special charger, so you can use pretty much any micro USB. I do not believe that these antennae have wires in them. I really don't. So, but I unfold them anyhow just to be safe, because I don't want to find out the hard way that they're an accessory. But I do suspect they're just an accessory to look good. You get this phone holder that clips in here. You get a very detailed, I may actually put a photo up over this, very detailed LED display, or LCD display, I'm sorry, backlit. And you can take it on GPS mode, off GPS mode, headless mode, which I hate. And it has a button for both level calibration and for GPS calibration, the where you have to spin it around and so forth. Do that. Return to home, always a very handy feature. And up top side, this button here is for photo and video, long press for video, quick press for photo. And this button here is for speed. There's slow and there's not as slow, which would be fast, but honestly, not as slow is a more useful description. Now, up here, you get this toggle. This is for making the gimbal go up or down so that you can adjust the angle of the camera. And it's counterintuitive because you push it this way for the gimbal to go down and you pull it this way for the gimbal to go up. And you would think this should be up and this is down, but no, that's not how that works. So that's something to remember too. It's a minor thing. It's something that I wish they would just correct that, but otherwise, yeah, it's a small price to pay for that. This is a fun little flyer. It's very stable in the air once it's up there, so it's not like it's not like a beginner drone where you gotta constantly just gotta fight to keep it where it needs to be. The optical flow positioning, the GPS both work extremely well. It's just a great machine. For $100 price range, the quality of the video is very solid. For all the features that you get, the fact that you got the recording directly to the SD card, I love that. I can't tell you how much I love that. The quality of that video is really pretty nice. You're going to see that in just a moment. What can I say? I have been looking at this thing since July, back when it was first, really readily announced, and I am so happy with it that I went ahead and bought it. Listen, you're tired of listening to me. Let's watch some video. I've got about 5 minutes of video from a few different flights that I've done. The weather's starting to get bad now, so I apologize for that. I'm not going to be able to do too many more too many more flights, but I'll try and do more. And I'm contemplating making a Facebook page for Studio Kaiju RC Review. Let me know if you like that idea. Just put a comment a note in the comments and hit like, subscribe, hit people that are mean to animals. And have a great day because you guys are awesome. And I love you all for being here. And I hope that you get something out of what I'm doing here. Have a nice day.